family members who have assembled here for this wonderful program today, Freedom Oration 163. And let us get into the topic straight. On behalf of Vivitos Management, CEO, COH, and VP, and myself, I once again welcome you all for this great day. Okay, coming to the our regular updation regarding COVID-19. Today, India had achieved a pinnacle on the wrong side. So we have reached the highest number of COVID patients per day, 77,000 patients just for yesterday, and it's on rise. Whereas in comparison, the other two countries which have been affected by COVID in a large scale, USA and Brazil, they are controlling the disease very well. There are many lacunae, and particularly the education, which is very, very important in restricting the spread of the disease. I feel personally, it's my personal opinion, personal feeling that we Indians, in spite of education, we are not following the basics. That's the reason the disease is spreading like wildfire. And the another reason is that the environmental influence, plenty of rains have started across the country, and this itself will cause the viral spread easier. And to make the things worse, in coming months, coming weeks, the temperature is going to drop. The environmental temperature is going to drop, and which will be ambient for the COVID-19 virus. Say once we are less than 26 degrees, the environmental temperature, it becomes a flourishing environment for the COVID-19. Even in situation like somebody is sneezing or coughing, the virus can get suspended in the air for quite a while. Say when some other people cross the same spot, it's easy that they will contract the disease airborne. And that's a possibility when the temperature is going below 26 degrees. And in South India, currently it's around 35 degrees in the higher daytime, and the lowest is somewhere around 25 and 26 in the night time. But still, in few places like Bengaluru and other places, such areas, the temperature is dropping down drastically day by day. And in another week, few weeks time, the upper temperature of the daytime temperature will hit only around 25, 26, and that's going to be a real danger. So these are the components which is going to affect the spread of the disease, as well as very importantly, the discipline of each and every Indians is important. Once we are disciplined, there is less chance that COVID will spread. If we are not disciplined enough, we all know almost in India, because of social media, people have got enough knowledge now, about COVID-19, and we have done a large scale education regarding COVID-19, what to do, what not to do, what is the disease, how it affects, how it's going to hit us very hardly, and how can we prevent those things. Everything we have educated. But still, there are plenty of people who are getting affected day by day in our close circle itself. And I told you already during my last oration, it's going to be somewhere, say, we are nearing about 1 lakh per day. And it's going to be, say, somewhere in the amount of around 10 lakh people getting affected with COVID-19 in another about 2 months' time. That is the projection given by the government body, the research body. There is a high possibility when the winter temperature peaks, that's when the lowest temperature is going to, there is a cold wave in whole of the country, in particularly in the North India. There is very high chance COVID is going to be like a wave, and be cautious about it. And before that, we need to safeguard our family members. We need to safeguard all Indians, all people across the globe. What to do? Yes, you need to be aware. You need to be reinforcing the same awareness repeatedly for your family members. Don't be reluctant. Don't be complacent. Go, even a fraction of minute complacency might get us into trouble. See, just because relatives are there, don't think disease won't spread. It's a very wrong notion. Don't think that just the family members are there around, it will not spread. No, somebody in your family can be a spreader. Somebody in your family can be a carrier. So wear a mask when you are at home. When there is more than 3 people at home, always do wear a mask. One thing. And even in the office environment, don't think everybody is close to you, everybody is a colleague to you. Just because of that, you will not get a disease spread from them. Anybody, I repeat, anybody can be a carrier. Anybody can be a spreader. Anybody can be a super spreader also. They may not have any symptoms. They may not have any, prodromal symptoms that is ideal for COVID-19. So this is the hinge. This is the point we need to understand. So when you are in office, when you are in a group within the closed circle, known circle, don't hesitate to wear your mask. Always wear a mask in the daytime whenever you go out of your house. And if the house is crowded, if it is a small house for yourself, always try to wear a mask to make sure safeguard yourself and to safeguard other family members also, particularly the elderly people. And next, always have Virun in hand, and this is very, very important. Plenty of data, plenty of testimonies are coming now in past about 2 weeks time. One small example, one of my close circle who has been under treatment of in the COVID care center, he by himself has asked for the Virun and has taken Virun. On day 1, the count was in 1 drop of saliva. It was around somewhere around 100 crores virus in a single drop of saliva before starting with Virun. And after that, by day 10, it has come down to completely. It has come down to just 500 viral particles in 1 drop of saliva. So this is the change, the biggest change. It has, in spite he had a respiratory symptoms, everything gone off, and he is completing the course by tomorrow, Sunday. And these kind of inputs, plenty of inputs are coming in, and in spite it is only a general immune wellness product and respiratory wellness product, it is doing plenty of support for the people who are undergoing viral infection, and that's good news for us, all of us. And there are plenty of, so we can't claim it as a treatment, we can't claim it as a medicine for COVID-19, no. And it is a supplement, nutraceutical supplement, nutritional supplement, which is aiding, which is supporting our human body to cope up with the stress, whatever the stress the virus is loading on us. And as simple as that, and it's helping us to save lives. And this is what all about Virun. Okay, coming to the topic, today's topic, the polyarthritis. It's a multiple joint pain. And we have already discussed about rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis in detail I have spoken during our first lockdown, first and second, during second lockdown also. But there are big area, say in polyarthritis, almost about 30 to 40% of the volume is taken care by the rheumatoid arthritis, but remaining almost 50 to 60% of the percentage of patients with multiple joint pain comes under different categories, which I am going to discuss with you, and I will help you to I will guide you how to take care of it, how to manage it properly also. Of course, there are plenty of things to be discussed. It might take about an hour, approximately 1 hour. So be ready, and simple things first. Okay, what is arthritis? Arth is a joint, itis is inflammation, and poly is multiple. Say many joints having inflammation, or swelling, or warmth, or pain, or tightness. All these are put together into an inflammatory joint disease. We call it as polyarthritis. Usually, polyarthritis is of doesn't comes under the degenerative joint diseases. Degeneration because of wear and tear, multiple joints getting affected is very less chance. Only option is that OA hand, osteoarthritis hand. joints are usually multiple in number, multiple joints are affected. But for the sake of our convenience discussion today, we are focusing only on the inflammatory joint disease, wherein the joints affected are swollen, it has warmth, it has pain, it is painful, and it has tightness also. These are the categories which we are going to discuss, and how to deal with it, how to handle the situation with the persons with polyarthritis. That's what I am going to discuss with you all today. Okay. I'm leaving out comfortably the rheumatoid arthritis component because we have discussed in detail during our previous oration. And today, I will start with the different types of this polyarthritis other than rheumatoid arthritis. And seronegative arthritis, polyarthritis is one condition where when you do a rheumatoid arthritis, it will be negative. When you do HLA-B27, that is for ankylosing spondylitis, it will come as negative. It will not show any positivity for the disease. And any other components which you are going to test, it will show as negative. But there will be multiple joint swelling, pain, and tightness. 3 components, 4 components particularly. So there will be inflammation, there is a swelling. Second will be, there will be warmth. When you feel it, it will be warmth. Third, it will be basically a pain, severe pain will be there. And the fourth will be a stiffness, tightness or stiffness. When you get up in the morning or when you get up out of rest for about half an hour to 1 hour, it will be tight and you will not be able to move the joint. These are the major components. These are the 4 major components with the inflammatory joint diseases. Ideally 5, but to make you understand, for a non-medical person, the 4 components are very crucial. Okay. Apart from this, wherever the joint may be, it can be in the small joints in the hand, it can be in the knuckles, it can be in the wrist joints, or in the elbow joints, or in the shoulder joints, or in the foot joints, ankle, knee joint, or in the hip joints. Any joints, when there are more than 2 joints are involved, we always call it as polyarthritis. Multiple joint pain and inflammation. Simple to understand. Okay. How to differentiate? What is that? What is this? And there are, in rheumatoid arthritis, I have told you already, morning stiffness, what all the symptoms which I told you now, plus additionally, the morning stiffness will be more than, at least for more than an hour, which will differentiate it into a definite rheumatoid arthritis clinically. But there are blood tests available which will help guide us to make it sure rheumatoid arthritis. When the rheumatoid arthritis factor, RA factor is negative, and then we need to think of other things also. It can be seronegative polyarthritis or seronegative spondyloarthropathies, where the spine is also involved, or it can be a post-viral arthritis, or it can be even kind of typhoid. In case of typhoid illness, it can cause, after the typhoid infection has gone, it can cause a reactive arthritis where there will be multiple joint pain. Usually the wrist joint, elbow joints, and knee joint and ankle joints are involved, not the small joints. Small joints are the joints in our hand. The distal interphalangeal joint, DAP joints. And this is the proximal interphalangeal joints, the metacarpophalangeal joints. So these are the joints where there are multiple in number, and usually 2 or 3 fingers are involved, and you will not be able to grasp anything in the morning. Once you get up out of the bed, if you want to hold your brush, or if you want to hold a handful of water, you will not be able to do that. And even the movements will be very tight, something like something has been tied, all the joint has been tied, or with a rubber band, it will be so tight, and it will be warm in the morning, and it will be painful also. Even a small movement will be very painful. So these are the things which we always consider it as a polyarthritis, multiple joint pain. And in the case of spondyloarthropathy, in case of seronegative spondyloarthropathies, where the spine is also involved. The spinal joints also are involved. So let us categorize it as one part of this polyarthritis. I told you it can be a viral infection which is leading to a multiple joint pain. It can even COVID also it has been seen there, or it can be a simple typhoid infection which has led to reactive arthritis, or it can be a general any other viral or any other bacterial infection happening in the GI tract or in the urinary tract that is causing a reactive arthritis. And this is very common, very common. People think it is a rheumatoid arthritis and they get into start putting on the steroids and it will not resolve at all. And no, nothing required for those things. Here you need to treat the cause, whatever the treatment. Say if there is a typhoid infection, you need to treat the cause. You need to treat the typhoid properly and then handle the reactive arthritis because of the typhoid infection, salmonella infection. Or it can be a viral infection, any viral infection, say maybe a flu, maybe a GI tract there are plenty of viruses available, plenty of varieties of viruses available which can affect our human body, including COVID-19, plenty other viruses. Once it comes into our system, it creates a mimicry and it goes off. After 2 weeks time, it goes off. But what happens? Our body own immunity thinks our joint synovium, wherever there is a kind of a rubbery consistency, we call it as a synovium. There are plenty of proteins available. These proteins are say somehow our body own immune mechanism thinks it as a virus, thinks it as a foreign body, and starts attacking on the synovium. And that causes swelling, that causes inflammation, that causes redness, that causes warmth, that causes stiffness. All this is because of the kind of a mimicry work done by virus previously, and it creates a wrong ideology to the immune system. And the immune system thinks these our own synovial membranes or our own cartilages as a foreign body, as a foreign element or a foreign virus, and it is being attacked by our own WBC, white blood cells. This is the whole concept behind polyarthritis as well as the reactive arthritis. And it is all basically inflammatory joint diseases. And it is very true in case of even HLA-B27, or we call it as ankylosing spondylitis. There are two varieties where the one type starts from upwards from the jaw and goes downwards in the spine, and the other variety starts from the sacroiliac joint and moves upwards towards the upper part of the spine. And all these varieties, there are more than two joints involved. More than one joint involved, it is polyarthritis. Poly is many, more than one. So for our convenience, we take it as more than two joints involvement. We call it as polyarthritis. Infective causes, say something like tuberculous arthritis, it's very uncommon to cause multiple joint inflammation. Usually it is on one joint. It can be in the knee joint or weight bearing joints or high movement joints, where the wear and tear is more, and the infection chance of this tuberculous infection getting settled there because of high vascularity, and it can cause catastrophe for that joint. Usually the tuberculous infection hits only one or two joints, maximum of two joints at a time. And apart from just, we will leave out those infective causes. The viral, salmonella typhoid post-viral arthritis, and all other kinds of infection leading to reactive arthritis, as well as this ankylosing spondylitis, I'm going to talk one by one. Okay, so we have seen all these polyarthritis will have these 5 basic characteristics, and it's easy to identify. And when there is no redness or warmth, it itself restricts the condition as a non-inflammatory, or it can be a degenerative. We generally call it as osteoarthritis, where there is only degeneration because of wear and tear, and there usually won't be any warmth, heat in the joint, or redness in the joint, around the joints, and even the tightness is only because of fluid accumulation rather not because of the swelling happening from the synovium. So this simple fonda you can identify all the joints, whichever is warm, whichever is hot or warm, red and painful, and it has more tightness, then you categorize this into inflammatory arthritis. So how to handle it? It can be from the mandible joints, temporomandibular joints here in the jaws, or it can be in the neck part, it can be in the shoulder joints, it can be in the elbows, or it can be in the wrist joints or in the hands also. Same way in the spine joining into the pelvis, we call it the sacroiliac joints. It's most commonly involved in ankylosing spondylitis, where you will not be able to turn, you will not be able to bend forward and raise up. It will be like you will be like standing still only. You can't even bend your head down. It will be tight. All the spine joints will be tight. And the other category where the joints, lower body joints also can get involved. And these are the situation. All the inflammatory joint diseases, the polyarthritis, particularly the inflammatory arthritis, can be categorized into one big category where the management is almost nearing the same. And one more category we can add here is the gouty arthritis. It is also kind of an inflammatory arthritis because of the accumulation of uric acid in the joints. And the initial days, it affects only about 1 or 2 joints in the lower extremity. But as the years progresses, when the uric acid levels are not in the normal levels, then other multiple joints, the weight-bearing joints, gets affected easily. And this leads to a very, very agonizing pain and very difficult condition to be treated. This gout or the high uric acid, we call it as the rich man's disease, because when there is more alcohol, more protein, non-vegetarian food, and more of pastas, high rich sweet items, when people start taking these, when they are rich, they opt for these things. So what happens? The riches usually gets loaded themselves with the uric acid levels, high uric acid levels, and which in turn the uric acid gets into the synovial fluid, becomes crystallized like a sand particles, and where the joint surface should be very smooth and it should be gliding, but uric acid gets into the joints and becomes crystallized. And if you put a sand into a bearing, what happens? The same situation happens inside the joints, particularly the lower leg joints, and it causes swelling and pain, agonizing pain. And this is particularly true with the gouty arthritis. So all these are categorized into, say, inflammatory arthritis. There are plenty other reasons, so it's a more commoner. And what to do? As usual, I always say there are 5 things to be followed. You have identified this as polyarthritis, particularly the inflammatory arthritis. And now going to talk about the viral diseases. Any viral infection causing running nose or sore throat, or it can be loose stools for 1 or 2 days, or it can be just a fever and body pain for 1 or 2 days, and then multiple joints becoming very tight and very warm, and all these symptoms, if it is there, we call it as post-viral reactive arthritis. In this situation, what to be done? If it is a post-viral, if at all, most of the viral diseases are self-limiting. It goes off, it comes into the body, it develops itself, it grooms itself in a very faster manner, and goes out of the body in about 2 weeks to 3 weeks time. And remanently, it makes the body to does the damage by itself. So here we can't do anything except to reduce the immune response in polyarthritis, particularly the post-viral reactive arthritis. The second component I was talking is particularly in case of a typhoid, salmonella infection. After the infection, if at all you have been diagnosed to have typhoid, and typhoid arthritis, it usually causes multiple joints to be inflamed and painful, and tightness also will be there minimally. In that situation, if we have been diagnosed to have typhoid and the joint pain has started, treat the typhoid properly. And once you treat the typhoid properly for the 15 days, it's a full course of medicines need to be done. We don't have the option with ourselves in Vivitos, but I'm just educating you. Make sure you take the proper medications from your family physician, family doctor, and get it done completely, and the pain will start coming down. Second. Third, I talked about, first I told you the viral reactive arthritis. Second is the typhoid. Third is gouty arthritis, where the importance is in the two ways. Either you need to reduce the production of uric acid level, high protein uric acid inside our body, or you need to help the body to expel more uric acid from your body. You have to guide, you have to help how to be done. There are medications available, of course. I'm not talking about it. So I'm going to talk only about reducing the production of uric acid inside our system. How? First thing, you need to restrict your alcohol intake. You have to restrict your high sugar intake, and you need to restrict, particularly there are gouty foods. You can just Google it. It will show you what are the gouty things. Whichever there is some, say, we call it as pulipu in Tamil, tamarinds and tomatoes. There are few particular food items which are very, very, say, it can promote or it can generate more uric acid in our system. So this gouty foods has to be restricted. You have to reduce or stop taking alcohol. You have to restrict, say, high glucose or high sweet content foods. That's very, very mandatory. And this will make sure the production of uric acid comes down gradually. And in the same time, we can expel more uric acid from our system. That's with the help of Oncoban O2. Oncoban O2, say, take a normal dose of 2 capsules per day and 1 sachet per day, initially for about 3 days, and then increase the dose to twice the dose. Morning 2 capsules, evening 2 capsules, and morning 1 sachet, evening 1 sachet for about next 5 days, and then revert back to the original 1 sachet per day and 2 capsules per day. Continue it for about 1 month. It will help promote expelling the excess uric acid from our system and make sure the uric acid levels are within the normal limits. And here too, the Oncoban plays a crucial role in taking away the excess salts and helping the renal system, the glomerulus to expel the adequate uric acids, so that the blood uric acid levels are maintained very well within the normal limits. And this in turn reduces the inflammation in the joints, as well as Oncoban O2 has the capability to reduce the oxidative stress. In spite there is a crystal formation inside the joint, it helps to increase the synovial fluid secretion that dissolves the crystal formed inside the joint and helps to reduce the damage done on the joints. This is very crucial. In case of salmonella typhoid, post-typhoid arthritis, polyarthritis, as well as in the viral polyarthritis, post-viral reactive arthritis, Oncoban O2 plays a very, very crucial role in stabilizing in the immune response, so that the immune system does not hits against our own body system, and it literally covers the synovium with the proper coating and prevents any damages done by our own system of WBCs. And these are the very important thing which need to understand. Apart from that, general category, all the reactive arthritis, all the inflammatory arthritis, all the polyarthritis are having a peculiar function, peculiar things all together. What need to be done? I always say 5 things to take home. The first component is always, say, food. In any of these inflammatory arthritis, we are removing the causative or causative reason. Say if it is a salmonella typhoid, treat the typhoid properly, the causative issue is gone. If it is a viral infection, the virus goes off. We need to wait for the viral infection to settle, and you can have the help of Oncoban O2, which will help the viral load to be reduced in quicker time. And apart from that, the food food is the important component which we need to take care. In particularly in all the polyarthritis, inflammatory arthritis, we need to restrict the intake of protein. Let it be chenna, let it be green gram, let it be black gram, let it be horse gram, or paneer, or fish, or mutton, or beef, or chicken, whatever it may be. High protein intake will help the immune system to build faster and cause a very high damage. So start restricting the protein intake and restrict yourself to 0.5 grams per kg body weight, and that will allow the immune system respond very moderately or very mildly, so that there is no damage happening immediately in the joints. First thing. Second, very important in case of uric acid, high uric acid levels, or in case of any other inflammatory joint, you need to have adequate fluid in your system. Hydration is very, very crucial. Adequate hydration will make sure whatever the oxidative component stored inside the joints will be washed out from the joints. That will in turn help the joints to recover faster. So first thing is the restricted protein intake, and restrict the alcohol intake, restrict or say stop the high sweet foods. Otherwise, normal all vegetables are okay. Rice and wheat and other low glycemic value millets, everything are okay. And regular, say even if you're going to use the dal, try to use it in the very minimal level, and use more vegetables in your say sambars or any other thing which you want to use. And otherwise, all other foods are okay. And first, food restriction. Second, adequate water intake. Third, and for importantly, if at all the inflammation is very severe, that there is pain in your joint, very severe pain in your joints, then start with Oncoban for first 3 to 5 days, 1 sachet per day in the empty stomach, and 2 capsules per day. That 1 capsule in the morning, 1 capsule in the night after food, as the starting dose. After 5 days, when the symptom, if you feel the symptoms are still severe, you can increase it to double the dose, 2 sachet per day, 1 in the morning after food, 1 in the evening after food initially, and 2 capsules in the morning after food, 2 capsules in the night after food. And after the next 5 days, when the symptoms comes down, when the pain comes down, and you have continued with the food restriction, then you can reduce the dose of Oncoban to a simple 1 day dose of 1 sachet per day in the empty stomach, and 2 capsules in the once daily. Either it can be in the morning or in the night time, so that it will cover the whole system throughout the day. And you need to continue it for about 3 months. Say food restriction, hydration. Third is the Oncoban O2. And fourth and important is the activity. It's a short resting periods are the goal which we need to follow with inflammatory arthritis. If you are going to overdo things, it's going to cause more damage. Rather, you should not rest continuously in inflammatory arthritis, or else it will lead to a deformity in the joints. So we need movement, but within pain limits, and there should be only a very short resting time. Don't allow the body to rest for more than about 2 hours. Make sure you move your joints. I will teach you a simple exercises, simple 9 exercise, which each and every person with polyarthritis, when the pain is not much, when the pain is controlled as I have directed you or guided you, and you need to start with this exercise at least about 5 to 7 days after starting with Oncoban and the food restriction, and the pain will gradually come down. And what are the exercise? I'll teach you right now itself. With the hands, it's simple closing of your hands, the fingers tightly, and open it tightly and spread it across. Don't hold it like this, spread it across. Do it for about 20 times. Slow, you shouldn't do it faster, it should be slow. Hold it tight and spread it across, and hold it tight, close it together. Repeat it 20 times on both sides. The first exercise. Second, like giving an accelerator and decelerator. See the movement. The wrist is going up and down, up fully and down fully. Do this for about 20 repetitions. Simple. Make sure don't do it faster. Don't do it like this. Very slow. More slower you do, more pain relief you will get. More the tightness will go off, and you will be free from moving your joints, all the joints. And the third one is we call it as supination pronation movements. Say, keep your elbow straight, elbow in the 90 degrees, shoulder, arm in the straight line to the body. You can see now. 1 second. Yeah. You can keep it in this position, turn it, fully close it. We call it as pronation, and open it fully for both sides, both hands. 20 repetitions. So that there are muscles which are stiff in the forearm, and that will make sure the joints, the distal radial ulnar joint and the proximal radial ulnar joint are made looser, so that you will be able to do your activities of daily living very freely. And this is the third exercise. And fourth, you need to, I told you, this is the first acceleration and deceleration. Second exercise, same 20 repetitions for first about 4 to 5 days. And then you can increase the repetitions to 30 to 40 repetitions every time. And third exercise, I told you, it's a supination and pronation exercises. And fourth is the elbow flexion and extension. Completely extend, completely flex. Repeat it for 20 repetitions, slow but steady. Okay. This is fourth exercise. Fifth is the put your thumb on your shoulder joint and pedal forward 20 times on each side, right and left. So once you pedal on the right side, you pedal next on the left side. Forward, 1, 2, slow, and it should be a full rotation. 3 and 3, fully. So both joints, both shoulder joints, 20 and 20 forward, and 20 and 20 reverse. This is reverse. You have to pedal backwards. Each and every activity, it stimulates plenty of muscle tendons, as well as it mobilizes the tight synovial joints, synovial membrane, make it lighter also. And this is 6 exercises. And in the lower extremity, you can think it as a foot, say in the fingers, toes. So same way, you have to open it, close it, make a claw foot, and close your toes, open it, and straighten it. In the foot, I am talking. So do that for 20 repetitions. Next is like a tailor. Say foot on right side, up, down, foot. Okay, and just showing in hand for the convenience. So up, down, 20 repetitions. Next is sit on the chair. This exercise you can do it in the lying down position itself. You can do it in the on the couch itself, or in the sofa, or you can, if at all you are able to sit in the floor, put a yoga mat or we call it a spy, or any bed sheet, and do the exercises. Even you can do it in the lying down position also. Only the last exercise, the shoulder joint rotation, last exercise, you need to do it in the sitting posture. And for the lower extremity, the knee joint, say bending forward, bending it, and straightening it. Do that for about 20 repetitions on both the right and left knee joints. Slow but steady. Excuse me. நான் மீட்டிங்ல இருக்கேன், ஒரு 1/4 நேரம் கழிச்சு பேசுறேன். Sorry. Okay. I told you the 9th exercise for the knee joint. So do these repetitions, 20 repetitions, each exercises slow, and you have to repeat it 4 times daily. Before breakfast, before lunch, once at the evening around 5 o'clock, and once before your dinner. 4 times daily. 5th time, if at all you're going to get up in the night time for toileting purpose, do the exercises in the bed itself and go to the toilet after that. And that will make your activity of daily living easier and smoother. It will reduce the pain. So this is the 4th component. I told you about the food restriction. I told you about the hydration, adequate hydration. Your tongue should be wet and you should be urinating pale yellow urine repeatedly throughout the day. 3rd is the on-command O2, and 4th is the exercise, and 5th, very important, and if at all any infection is there, you have to treat it properly. Apart from that, sunlight exposure is mandatory. Sunlight exposure for about 15 minutes to 20 minutes a day, continuously, anytime in the daytime, morning 9 till evening 5 o'clock. 15 minutes of sunlight exposure, particularly in your back, is very excellent. That will help you to develop your immune system, modulate your immune system also. And apart from that, vitamin D is synthesized adequately, and your bones will get strengthened up also. So here the protein restriction and high sweet intake has to be taken care. Keep it in your mind. This is the take-home message for today. So these 5 components you need to follow. Along with that, if at all, if it is a very severe disease, very severe and very painful, start following these things. If you are unable to cope up, always get the help of your family doctor, family physician nearby, who's living nearby, and they will guide you for temporary relief at least, because there is no permanent solution like clear cut. There are immunoglobulins available, yes, for rheumatoid arthritis and other diseases. Whatever I have told you, we don't have any specific medications. Rather, other things, whatever the lifestyle modifications need to be done, food restriction, whatever the things I have advised you, guided you, just take it by heart and spread the message and help people from getting relief from polyarthritis, multiple joint pains, very simply, very easily. And make sure they follow the on-command O2 dosing properly. And if somebody is more than about 110 kilos weight, then they need to use 4 capsules per day. Morning 2 capsule, night 2 capsule, morning 1 sachet, evening 1 sachet for about 3 months time. Those are more than 110 or 120 kilos. Till about that weight, keep it as 120 as a upper limit. Till that time, 1 sachet per day and 2 capsules per day of on-command O2 is more than enough. And for it's for anybody more than about 14 years and more than 60 kilos weight till about 120 kilos weight at the same dose. And make sure, let us create a pain-free, joint pain-free world, and spread the message of what is polyarthritis and how we need to control it, how we can manage it easily, very simply also. That will help them to start earning their income. Polyarthritis will crumple the person from restricting them to go to any activity or any job. So help them with all Vivitos family members, help them, people with polyarthritis, make them productive, let them start earning, let them start generating income for themselves and for their family. And ultimately, we are creating a very, productive environment, very quality environment, quality people who can be, supporting the development of their family also. And personal growth is always important for everyone, every human being. And restricting the polyarthritis, restricting the growth is taken care with the help of O2, on-command O2. And of course, health education is mandatory. Whatever we educate, it should be a complete one. Not only focus only on the product, educate them adequately so that people will get relieved of the joint pains and come back to normalcy. That's what we want, to create a joint pain-free world. All the best. Namaste, namaskar. Thank you.